going on, guys? It's Ryan here at the office in Long Beach at OCR Aviation. Just want to kind of recap the trip that we did in that CJ4 all the way from the Philippines to the US and kind of go over a couple things on the video. We had a customer come to us last year about around August time that they were looking for an airplane. It was going to be their first airplane, didn't know which airplane kind of fit their mission and needs. So we met with them, sat down with them and talked over, what they plan to do with the airplane, whether for personal, business use, and where they were mainly flying and how many people they were flying, because that depends on the type of aircraft they're gonna get. So we narrowed down the airplane to a Citation CJ3 Plus or CJ4. And so after that, we started to scour the market, talk to different brokers and see what off-market availabilities there were for airplanes. And we ended up finding a 2019 CJ4 that was based in the Philippines. It only had one owner and it was pretty low, decent low time, just under 1,800 hours at the time. Yeah, we figured that was a perfect airplane for them. We got with the broker out there, and actually the broker's in Hong Kong, but we got with the broker in Hong Kong and talked to them, got all the books, history and everything on the airplane. And for the price, it was a really good price for the airplane, considering it was a 2019, and we figured this would be the perfect airplane for our customers and their needs and their mission for using the aircraft in the following year. So they did need it by the end of the year, so that was the next hurdle that we had to get through with getting the airplane back from the Philippines to the US by the end of the year, which we had some time, which was nice. After we got all the documents and all the maintenance history on the airplane, we decided to send our director of maintenance here at OCR out to Manila to go do a pre-buy inspection on the airplane. He's got it under contract, so we sent him out there. He was out in Manila for about 3 or 4 days, and he did a full pre-purchase inspection on the airplane and reported back to us that the airplane was in great shape, which was awesome to hear. Not many things were needed to be fixed or due on the aircraft, and the most important thing with the CJ4 was that the windshield service bulletin was actually completed, which was a huge plus for us. We got the pre-buy done and approved. We decided to go ahead and close on the airplane, and by the time that whole process kind of got together, it was end of November going into the beginning of December, and we decided to go out to Manila, meeting myself, and I brought a co-pilot along with me on the flight. His name was Harry, which you heard about in the video. He was flying the airplane before me in Manila, and he actually delivered the airplane from Wichita, from the factory, to Manila. So I figured that would be the perfect person to bring along on this trip, especially because this is going to be my first international trip outside of North America. So he was a really good resource and help along the way. The way we decided to get the airplane back to the US was a couple factors. So we can either go west or go east. Obviously going east, we'd go through all of Europe and go through India, Southern Europe, up to London or UK, and go to Iceland, Greenland, and back down to the States through Canada. So that was the long way to do it. But since we got down to a crunch time to get the airplane back by the end of the year, the CJ4 has great performance and great range for the size of aircraft it is. So we were able to figure out a flight plan that took us from Manila to Tokyo, Tokyo to Sapporo, Sapporo to Adak, Alaska, and then Adak to Anchorage down to Seattle, and then Seattle to Phoenix to Long Beach. All right, guys, finally made it to Manila and just saw the aircraft for the first time, and it looks great, actually. Let me flip the camera here so you guys can see it. You can see it a little bit right now in the background, but let me flip it around. All right, so here she is, guys, 2019 Citation CJ4. It's currently here in the Philippines, and we'll be flying it back to the US. But take a look at it.
November 520 Charlie Romeo, resume on navigation, direct Kaiho.
Kaiho. That's in the approach.
Oh, that's in the approach?
Yeah.
Say again, waypoint, sir? Resume on navigation, direct Kaiho. Kilo Alpha, India, Hotel, Oscar.
There you go.
Kilo Alpha, India, Hotel, Oscar, November 520 Charlie Romeo.
Kaiho.
Alright. Direct to
There's
Kaiho.
Kaiho.
Yeah, I could not understand what that arrival was.
That was a cool flight. I was obviously nervous on the flight because I haven't done any oceanic experience, especially in a CJ. So Harry was a really good help with all that. And it was very interesting to see, you know, all the different international procedures in different countries, especially in the Philippines and in Japan. When we took it off into Manila, you know, we're so used to flying in the States with just getting in the airplane, starting up and taking off. Can't do that out there. So, you know, we have to call for startup and then obviously call for taxi and all that. But calling for startup was interesting to me. I haven't experienced that yet, but that was an easy little process. You know, you have to have a departure permit and arrival permit from when the plane was in the Philippines and also to depart. And same thing with Japan as well. Got to have an arrival permit and a departure permit. And the way we went about that is we actually used a handling service, which many airplane owners and operators that fly, you know, Europe, Asia, Mexico, everywhere outside the country, they use a handling service where you pay them and they basically handle everything for you as far as getting fuel releases, landing permits, slot times for departure and arrival. And so they were really a really good help. We used A1. They were out of, I believe, Singapore, and they covered literally everything. Their response time was fantastic. Like, we'd shoot them an email or give them a call, and they'd call you right back and get everything squared away very quickly with all the flight planning as well. So it was a really cool experience to go through all that.
November 520 Charlie Romeo, contact tower 12435.
12435, 520 Charlie Romeo. Tower, good evening, November 520 Charlie Romeo.
November 520 Charlie Romeo, Tokyo Tower Green. Do you know your parking bay number?
151. Yep, 151.
151, November 520 Charlie Romeo.
November 520 Charlie Romeo, Roger runway 34 right, continue approach, wind 0209, one departure before you.
Continue approach, November 520 Charlie Romeo.
$300.
Approaching minimums. All right.
Minimums.
Continuing.
200. $100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
All right, speed brakes are out.
November 520 Charlie Romeo, turn left Charlie 10.
Charlie 10.
Okay, Charlie 10, November 520 Charlie Romeo.
Yeah, Tokyo was a cool experience to go into. You know, one thing that was a little tough for me was a little bit the language barrier in Japan. Accents were a little strong, but you know, I had a little bit of struggle on one of the arrivals going into Tokyo because on their arrival, they have like 20 other different types of arrivals within that one. And I couldn't really understand which one they were telling us to fly on, but we got it squared away where they just sent us direct to a fix and we were able to join the ILS going into Tokyo. So wasn't in the world, but you know, that's definitely a hurdle that you need to overcome and try to listen better and understand what they're fully telling you to do. Obviously the universal language with ATC is English, but there can be some language barriers depending on the country you go to. Landed in Tokyo, I think at like 4 a.m. on January 1st. What is going on, guys? We just landed in Tokyo, Japan, Haneda International Airport. Got the aircraft here behind us and flip the camera here. You can see we are in the terminal with the big boys right now. Got our handlers. Next stop is Sapporo, Japan. Parked in one of the big airport bays, spot 151 out in Tokyo, which was pretty cool because we have all these 777s, A350s, and 787s all next to us, and then we have this tiny little CJ4. It was a good experience. Our handlers there in Tokyo were very nice and very accommodating, and it was a really quick turn and got us out of there pretty quick. And after Tokyo, we departed Tokyo, went to Sapporo, Japan.
November 520 Charlie Romeo, wind 020 10, runway 34 right Charlie 2, clear for takeoff.
Okay, clear for takeoff by Charlie 2 for 34 right, November 520 Charlie Romeo.
Affirm.
Okay, ice protection system.
Nav card.
Pitot static heat.
On.
Exterior lights. Right clear.
Strobe, nav, beacon. Light
And ICAS
is clear.
Okay, clear for takeoff. Check soon. Your flight directors.
There you go.
If you push Toga, the heading, then give you nav. Okay. Fine.
Thank you.
First speed alive. 70. Okay, V1, rotate. Positive rate.
You're up.
Okay, V2 plus.
Flaps
Okay.
up. Get a yaw damper, please.
Yaw damper.
Flight level change,
yeah.
240.
Yeah, synchronizing your heading.
November 520 Charlie Romeo, contact departure 120 decimal 8.
Okay, 1208, good day, November 520 Charlie.
Good day.
Departure, November 520 Charlie Romeo.
November 520 Charlie Romeo, Tokyo departure. Radar contact, depart passing altitude.
Passing 4,900, November 520 Charlie Romeo.
November 520 Charlie Romeo, Roger, climb via street to flight report 170.
Clear level 170, November 520 Charlie Romeo.
November 520 Charlie Romeo, comply with restrictions.
Comply with restriction 520 Charlie Romeo.
Alright, so we got 15,000, right? Below 15,000 and spoon.
Below 15. 15,000.
Yeah, got VNAV active,
Okay, check.
so it should level off.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10,
Not ready. Morning, Adu 12 Tower Tower, hold the short of runway 19 right, report energy.
Adu 12, hold short of runway 19 right, and now ready.
Adu 12, runway 19 right, line up on the way.
Adu 12, runway 19 right, line up on the way, wait.
Skymax 703, traffic Boeing 767, we depart from runway 19 right, wind 210 at the 6.
Once we got to Sapporo, super cold there, absolutely freezing, and we actually had a slight issue with the door pins, got some moisture in it when we departed Tokyo. And as we descended, they froze up a little bit, so the door pins were a little stuck, but figured that out, got that squared away, and then we took off to Adak, Alaska. And Adak is, it could be a very challenging airport because it's on the Aleutian Island chain, which is known for, having some pretty gnarly weather, a lot of, high winds and very unpredictable weather. But luckily we picked a time where within that 2-week span, there wasn't any crazy weather coming into Adak, and it was, not eventful, which was great. We didn't have any issues going into Adak. We ended up landing at nighttime in Adak. So obviously the goal was to get the airplane back to the US on US soil before the end of the year. And we departed Manila January 1st. And by the time we got to Adak, it was December 31st because of the time change, which was pretty cool. So I got to celebrate 2 New Years, which was very interesting. And then we landed in Adak at, I believe, 9:30 p.m. And we're able to close on the airplane fully for our customers. Once we landed in ADAC, it was a quick turn, fueled up, and headed on to Anchorage. And after a 2.5-hour flight into Anchorage, landed safely and stayed the night in Anchorage. And then from the next day, went from Anchorage to Seattle. And the airplane stayed in Seattle. Harry flew back home to the Philippines, and the plane stayed up there for about a week or so. And we went back up there, or I went back up there to pick up the airplane and go pick up the owners for the first time, because that was going to be their first time seeing the airplane. So flew down from Seattle down to Phoenix, picked up the owner, did a business trip, and flew back to Long Beach. I tried to do as much filming as I could on the flight. Wasn't able to do a lot of filming going to ADAC and crossing the Pacific, and then also going into Anchorage, but did get a little footage of, you know, departing Manila, coming into Tokyo, and coming into Sapporo. So did with what I can do on it. Hope you guys enjoyed a kind of little recap on that trip. It was a very cool experience for me to do that, and especially for me to get that airplane back to Long Beach safely with our customers can start enjoying the airplane. Yeah, overall, hope you guys enjoyed some of the footage that I caught along, and then this little recap of flying, you know, that airplane from Asia to the US. If you're ever looking for management, maintenance, you know, hangar space, or, you know, aircraft sales, especially with CJs, feel free to give me a call. We have a lot of CJs and Citation Mustangs that we manage and turn over throughout the year, and we'd love to have you here in Long Beach. So thanks for jumping in on the trip. Hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully there's gonna be some more cool experiences like that coming soon.